At New Year's dinner, my mom said, "Your sister's divorced, and now you'll be supporting her and her kids." Simple as that, son. My dad nodded and added, "If you disagree, the door's right there." I replied, "Perfect. I'm leaving, and you can start paying your own mortgage." Simple as that. Hey, Reddit. New Year's dinners at my parents' place had always been routine, predictable, a bit dull, and a touch nostalgic. But this year, it became the night I realized my family didn't truly love me. They used me and expected me to keep allowing it. Mom prepared her usual holiday roast. Dad finished off half a bottle of wine. My sister Anna arrived, looking worn out and angry at everything. Her two kids trailed behind her. Anna, recently divorced, was miserable, bitter, and always complaining. But as soon as dinner was served, I sensed something was off. There was tension. Everyone kept glancing at me. I didn't know they were planning an ambush. We ate in silence for a few minutes until Mom dramatically cleared her throat. "Sweetheart," she said, "we need to discuss your sister." Anna stared at her plate. Mom continued, "She's divorced now. She can't raise two children on her own." I nodded politely. I understood she was struggling. Divorce is tough. Mom shook her head. "No, you don't understand." She folded her napkin neatly. "You'll be supporting her now." I blinked. Supporting her? How? Dad wiped his mouth, leaned back, and said, "She needs monthly financial help, a steady income, support for the kids, gas money, groceries, bills, whatever she requires." I stared at them. "You're kidding, right?" Mom sighed dramatically. "As simple as that, son." I let out a short, disbelieving laugh. "You expect me to cover all her expenses?" Dad nodded slowly. "She's family, and family takes care of each other." I rubbed my temples. She just divorced a guy who makes six figures. Anna suddenly snapped. "He cheated on me," Dad added sharply. "And now she has nothing because he left her nothing." "That's not true," I said. "I know for a fact she got alimony." Anna slammed her fist on the table. "Stop acting like you know my life." Mom glared at me. "You will help her. That's final." My jaw tightened. "Mom, Dad, I already help with your mortgage." Dad's expression hardened. "Now you'll help with more." I froze. "Wait, the mortgage? What about it?" Mom slid her wine glass aside. "Honey, we use your bank transfers to pay it this whole year." I stared in disbelief. "You said that money was for your medical bills." She interrupted. "I said it was for the family. Anna's family." My hands began to shake. "You stole from me." Mom scoffed. "It's not stealing when it's your parents." Anna smirked. "See? Everyone helps each other. Time for you to step up." I tried to breathe through the anger rising in my chest. "Mom, Dad, I'm willing to help Anna occasionally, but financially supporting her entire life? No, that's not fair." Dad slammed his hand on the table. "If you disagree," he growled, "the door's right there." He pointed across the room toward the front entrance. A challenge. A threat. Mom glared, daring me to argue. Anna crossed her arms, smug. They thought they owned me. They believed fear would keep me obedient. They had no idea I'd been preparing for this moment for months. I leaned back in my chair. "Perfect," I said quietly. Mom blinked. "What?" I stood up slowly. "I'm leaving." Dad scoffed. "Where do you think you're going?" I picked up my coat. "Away from people who use me." Anna rolled her eyes. "Stop being dramatic. Sit back down." I placed my hand on the doorknob. Dad's face turned red. "You walk out that door," he growled, "and you're on your own." I turned around and smiled, a cold, tired smile. "Good." Mom gasped. Dad stood. "Don't you dare leave this house." I tilted my head. "You gave me the choice." Then I added the words that ignited the room. "And you can start paying your own mortgage." The room erupted. Anna stood up screaming. Mom shrieked. Dad turned purple. "What mortgage?" Anna demanded. Mom looked at me, panicked. "You wouldn't." "What?" I said, "Tell the truth that you haven't paid your mortgage in over a year." Dad clenched his fists. "You little..." You used every transfer I sent for your bills to pay their house. I know because I checked the statements. Anna's eyes widened. That's my house. You paid for it. Mom snapped. It's still family money. No, I said. It was my money and now it's gone. Anna screamed. Pay it again. I actually laughed. No. Dad charged toward me. You ungrateful brat. I stepped back. You want to talk about ungrateful? I've been paying your mortgage, Anna's bills, and your debts. Mom screamed. You're the man of this family. It's your job. No, I said calmly. It was my kindness, and you turned it into obligation. Anna shoved past our mother. You ruined me. I raised an eyebrow. You ruined yourself when you expected me to fund your life. Dad's voice thundered. You're not welcome here anymore. Good, I replied. I'm done supporting people who refuse to grow up. Anna shrieked. You owe me? I have kids, and I'm not their father. I replied. You married a man who left you. Deal with it. Mom pointed her finger at me like a weapon. You are dead to us. Funny, I said. I felt dead to you for years. Emma's voice echoed in my head, reminding me months ago that my family used me. I should have listened sooner. I opened the door, and before stepping out, I looked back at all three of them, filled with rage, entitlement, and disgust toward me, and softly said, You should check your mailbox tomorrow. Dad frowned. What? I smiled. You'll see. Anna spat on the floor. Whatever it is, we don't want it. Oh, I said, gripping the doorknob. You're definitely going to want it. They stared, confused, angry, demanding answers, but I didn't give them any. I walked out, closed the door behind me, and whispered to myself, It begins tomorrow. When I left my parents' house that night, I felt something I hadn't felt in years. Relief. A quiet, heavy relief. The next morning, I woke up early, made coffee, and waited because I knew exactly when a mailman arrived at my parents' house. 10:22 a.m. At 10:26 a.m., my phone began buzzing. Dad called, then Mom, then Anna. 3 calls each back to back. I didn't answer. Then came a text from my mother. You little traitor, how could you do this to us? I smiled slightly. It had begun. In their mailbox were 3 letters, one addressed to each of them, all identical in format, all containing the same documents. 1, a notice of mortgage default. 2, a notice of final payment responsibility. 3, a termination letter from me. 4, a record of every payment I had made. 5, a copy of my lawyer's letter formally removing my financial involvement. 6, a statement from the bank stating that as of January 1st, I was no longer legally or financially tied to this property. I wasn't stupid. I had spent months untangling my finances from theirs, months transferring deeds, months taking my name off papers, months removing my access. They didn't know that the house they thought I had to help pay for was now their full responsibility again. And their mortgage was past due. Very past due. Dad finally called again. This time, I answered. What did you do? He growled. I sipped my coffee. I ended the arrangement you forced on me. You idiot, Dad shouted. You expect us to cover that mortgage? Yes, I said simply. It's your house. Mom screamed in the background. You should have talked to us first. I tried, I said, for a year. Anna grabbed the phone. You ruined me. I can't afford my kids, my rent, nothing. You have to help me. I don't have to do anything, I replied. Anna sobbed dramatically. You said family helps family. I nodded to myself. I did help for years. You drained me dry. She shrieked. You're selfish. I let out a dark laugh. Selfish for stopping you from using me like an ATM? Mom yelled, We are your parents. We gave you life, and then you took every advantage you could. Dad snapped, You're not welcome in this family anymore. I smiled. That's fine. Mom yelled, We hope you rot alone. Before I hung up, I said, You'll get another letter this afternoon. Dad froze. What letter? I hung up. That afternoon, my phone buzzed again, but this time it wasn't my parents. It was the bank. They told me something I had been waiting to hear. Your parents have missed 7 payments. Their credit is collapsing. Would you like to readjust the loan and help them avoid foreclosure? I took a breath. No, I said. The banker sighed. They already called us crying. I closed my eyes. I'm not responsible for saving adults from their own decisions. And then I added, they never were entitled to my money. I just finally stopped pretending they were. At 6 p.m., Mom texted, "Come to the house now. We need to talk." I went for closure. When I stepped inside, they were all there, Mom, Dad, Anna, and 2 scared kids sitting on the couch. Everyone stared at me with anger, betrayal, and fear. I remained standing. Dad spoke first. "You put us in financial ruin." "No," I replied. "You did that when you depended on me instead of yourselves." Anna jumped up. "What about me? I'm a single mother." I looked at her. "You think that makes you helpless? Millions of single parents work hard without stealing from others." Anna pointed at my chest. "You ruined my life." "No," I said. "You ruined your own life the moment you expected me to be your lifeline." Mom's voice cracked. "Please, just help us." I shook my head. "I won't." Anna screamed. "Why not?" That's when I finally said the truth I had been holding back. "Because none of you love me. You love what I can give you." Silence. Even the air stopped moving. Mom whispered, "That's not true." I looked at her, tears forming in my eyes. "Yes, it is. If I had nothing, none of you would even call me." Dad opened his mouth to argue, but couldn't because it was true. Mom stepped closer. "What if we apologize?" she said desperately. "What if we change?" I shook my head gently. People don't change when they're sorry. They change when there's no one left to use. Anna collapsed into a chair, sobbing. Dad stared at the floor, humiliated. Mom whispered, "We're losing everything." I nodded. "Yes. And now you know how I felt all those years." They didn't speak, not a single word. I turned toward the door, and before leaving, I said, "There's a final document in the mail tomorrow." Anna looked up weakly. "What now?" I held the doorknob. "It's the last thing I owe any of you." Mom whispered, "What is it?" I looked back. A legal notice. Dad swallowed hard. "For what?" I said softly, "For cutting ties." My parent home went into foreclosure. They moved into a small rental. Anna took on a full-time job for the first time in her life. She blocked me on every platform. Mom and Dad stopped trying to contact me after the legal notice arrived. And me? I slept better. The weight I carried since childhood was gone. People say family is forever. Sometimes, family is the first thing you need to escape from to truly feel free.